So, wait, I can't say it.
No, you got what we're gonna say. We can cut this out.
If she gets like cut off, I mean, just make sure to say in the beginning like we are in different states, so it'll make sense. If like it sounds disconnected.
For sure. All right. So on three. 1, 2, 3. All right, everybody. Welcome to the soapbox. You join us again.
Dude, what are you doing?
Bro.
Dude, no.
Bro.
I don't understand.
Dude, come on. Why are you laughing? It's him. It's Jordan.
Me. Anyway. All right, everybody. I gotta do this again.
Dude. I gotta be myself. And that's what I'm gonna do if I hear noise. I'm gonna just mute my thing. But okay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the soapbox. We have our host, myself, Jordan Lewis, and I have two very cool guests on. Just some good friends back from elementary, middle school, and high school. I'll introduce them. So we have Lakeisha Rembert and we have Floralee Bernarte. We'll be talking about what does it mean to marry too young, or if that is such a thing. And this isn't a debate. We're just going to be chatting about stuff. And yeah, so here we go. Is there anything else? Actually, introduce yourselves real quick. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just like one fun fact about you guys. Lakeisha, you go first.
I'm 25 years old and I'm from Washington State.
All right, Flo, you go.
Okay, I'm 24 years old and I'm from Washington State.
All right. Anyway, so guys, I think it was Flo's original idea to talk about getting married too young. So we can dive right into it.
No, it's actually Lakeisha's because she's the one who sent us the TikTok.
Oh, cool.
I forgot what the TikTok was about though. Remember, you sent us a TikTok of like two people discussing it, and you're like, "Ooh, this is a good topic." So
what did it say again?
I forgot. I don't remember. But I think it was just asking like,
the black guy was guy was saying
like he said,
people say getting married too old, you're getting married too young. Oh no, the black guy was saying when you're older and get married, he was like saying when people say to wait to live your life, you're pretty much telling men to get used to being like to met a bunch of girls and they're never gonna get out of that phrase. They do it for 10 years straight or something like that.
Wait, so the guy was basically saying like was he fighting against the idea of getting married too old because people are still wanting to sleep around?
I think he was saying it's too young because you want the man to be able to experience.
No, that's not what he was saying. He was saying
that's not what
he was saying the dude on TikTok was saying opposite. He was saying when you are young, he's saying when you are older and you're going through your 20s just messing around with a bunch of people, how are you going to become 30 and automatically know what commitment is and when you've never done it?
We should have watched the video before we
because
I don't remember. But
wait, hold on. Let's define young real quick. What do we when we say get married young? What does that mean?
Like, I say anything under 20, like 24 and under.
24? Okay. 24 and under.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably say about I'd probably say 24, 23.
I'd say 22. 22 and younger.
20 you think 20 you don't think really? 24 is not.
I think 24 is up there. I mean, it's still, yes, it's young, but it's not that, like, I know someone, I guess for me, I know someone who got married at 21.
That's what I'm saying. When I'm speaking of young, I'm speaking on young to get married. I'm not saying 22 years old is not young.
It's not, yeah, but to get married is like, yeah.
I guess, like, where do we get that distinction? Like, you said, why?
I'm personally thinking about like, see, I think our lives are different though, because I think of like school. Like I'm still like in school at 22, and I just feel like there's so much going on in your life that you just seem like too young to make that huge commitment, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's how I see it. I
I
don't.
think it.
Mm.
See, this is a this. I think it just depends.
Yeah, it just depends where you're at in life. I feel like I don't. I'm just kind of relating to my personal experience. Like I feel like, well,
But I mean, just because you're in school don't mean you can't be married.
no, you
Yeah,
can. But I'm
I knew someone
saying,
who got married, and they still had one more year of school left.
no, yeah, I know, but well, I personally, I'm not against getting married young. I'm
Neither am
just
I.
thinking of like what my I don't know. That's what I define as young.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's how I'm
But so,
defining.
what do you guys think of people who get married at like 18?
Okay, that's just too young.
Okay,
I
I'll get on my soapbox since this is my podcast. So here's my thing. Like, because back in the day, getting married like right out of high school was not really all that weird. Like, there's a lot of people um, who would do that. Like, it's actually very odd
but
now.
you can't compare that to now.
Wait, what?
Like, okay, I feel like the society is different now, though.
No, it is. I'm just saying, like,
Oh,
I'm saying the way we view things is not how people have always viewed it. I think also, I think in today's society, with today's culture, getting married at 18 would probably be a huge mistake in almost all cases. Um,
I
and for a few,
agree.
and
I
for a few,
agree.
for a few reasons, because I think our culture, we mature, men and women mature a lot later in life because of things like we typically don't move out. Like we typically don't move out right when we turn 18. We go to college. We still live at home, which are we by the way, these are not bad things. I'm just saying. I think this does stunt maturity and the kind of maturity that you would want in a marriage. People are not going right into the workforce. People are prolonging the workforce for years, and I think also now you have a society that is super over sexualized. So I highly doubt the ability for an 18-year-old to make a good decision to get married that young that is not heavily influenced by his or her desire to have sex. I highly doubt the maturity to be able to make that decision. Now, sex.
What if?
Oh wait, what's that?
Okay, but what if? Okay, let's say what if I was 18 and the dude was 28?
Dude, that's not okay.
I'd have
Like,
some serious.
I
What are you saying? Like, would you be my daughter?
no, I'm just saying. Like, I'm not even talking about like the age gap. That it don't matter. Like,
no, I
I'm
feel
not
like
talking about the age gap. I'm saying I'm speaking on like you're saying. Okay, you're 18, you're too young. But what if one of the people are not
I
that
feel like no, see, I still feel like that's young because I feel like if you're at 20, if someone's at 28 and you're at 18, you just graduate high school. Someone at 28 is at a different life path than you. So I feel like
See,
I don't
10-year
know.
age gaps mean
It's
less the older you get, but 18, bro. Like,
yeah, that's really
I think
young.
I think we all have someone in our head right now who we went to high school with who would still hang out with like the freshmen and stuff. You know, come on. We all knew those people who come like they graduated like 3 years ago, but 3 years ahead of us, and they would still come to the football games and be hitting on the girls. That gives me someone who's 28 starts dating an 18-year-old. That nah, I'm sorry. You're
Yeah,
getting
that's just too young. I just feel like you're like that person who's 28 is probably establishing a career, probably want to start a family, and then the 18-year-old just graduated high school, starting his or her life.
now. If the
I
person
don't,
is like 20, you know, in their
yeah. I feel like it's
a
not
lot.
bad if you're on the same page as the partner
Yeah, I
because
mean
And
that's
that's
like
what I'm saying. There's some people who like everyone wants kids and family at different paces and different times in life. There's a lot of young moms. Like, what if she wants to be a mom that young?
there's not. Here's the thing. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. Wait, are we still talking about the 18 and 28-year-old? Or are we just talking about marrying at 18? Both parties are 18.
No, I'm talking about being married to somebody who's more like older and mature. You don't
Here's
think
the
that
thing. It's
that
not.
don't
I
you
thought
don't
that
It's not immoral and it's not illegal, but it's still there's some serious questions. Like I don't know, man. Like I just imagine if he just met the person, okay, sure. But if he's known that person, like then he's like, nah, that dude was waiting. He was waiting for her to turn 18. Nah. Or him to
No,
turn 18. Mad
but
sad.
I think the thing is with that TikTok, it was pretty much saying that like if you are gonna marry, you should marry later because it's all about the experience. Like I feel like that's the
Experience
whole,
of what?
you know.
Dude, but okay. By the way, this podcast is PG-13. We can still talk. It's about sex. We can talk about sex.
I just feel
Um,
like that's what people usually say when they're like, "Don't get married yet,"
I
because like
resent that. I,
experience.
Yes, and that TikTok I sent you, he was saying that that myth is terrible, and people need to stop saying that.
Yeah. No,
like,
I agree with you. I'm just saying, I wonder like why people feel that way that you need to experience first. Because I don't believe that either. Like I don't.
here's the thing.
I'm
I feel
iffy.
I feel like we I feel like our culture is weird. People are gonna be like, Jordan, aren't you 25 and not married? A, it's not for lack of trying. Anyway, get off me. I think our society marries too. This, it's not that it's wrong to get married too late, but I think most of our society we marry too late for the wrong reasons. We do so because not everybody, but some people still want to run out in these streets, you know. And so like that for me, in my opinion, um, if you want, here's the thing: people don't want to get married because they don't want to make the commitment, but they still want the benefits of marriage without having to get married. So therefore, you have people living together and sleeping together and basically acting like they're married without actually putting a ring on it. That's not okay. I can. There are certain things where we can allow, like, hey, not for me. I don't want it. But no, biblically speaking, people should stop doing that. Like, you can't be having like I think someone said, like, why would you give someone the keys to the car if they don't own it, or if they hadn't made a commitment to it? You know, like you're giving over the most intimate parts of yourself for someone who's not committed to you. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like it makes me sick when people say like, so you got to have the experience. Now, if you want to travel and like you have a job that you want to do that maybe won't be very conducive to family life, that's one thing. But if you just say
Yeah.
like, nah, man, you got a lot of other people to experience before you get married, nah, blood. I'm over that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Yeah. And honestly, though, actually, a lot of people tell me I'm too young to be married. A lot of people tell me that.
I will I will say this, like there does have to be like it's hard because I said what I just said as far as people will probably get married too late for the wrong reasons. I think you can get married too young for the wrong reasons too. I think that's the thing when people get married, and it's my opinion that when you are getting married, that decision should not be made just by yourself. Like I think you should have people in your life who can speak into your relationship, people who can affirm it. Um, 'Cause I think like, I'm skeptical of people who just get like I'm trying to put this. I'm skeptical of people. I feel like that's what happens with 18-year-olds. Like they're just talking like, "Hey, want to get married?" And then the guy proposes and stuff, and it just gets weird. And they're not very mature. Never had any guidance into it, right? Like I've heard numerous stories. I think that's why. I think they
A lot of that got to do with military.
say what?
A lot of young marriages like that come from military.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I believe it. Get that BAH.
18 years old, they'd be getting married.
Exactly. So you did not. It's not very mature, and it's like I think also too. I wonder if people who get married like really, really young have a real understanding on what marriage is. Like we've all talked about how like the colleges be kind of scamming 18-year-olds by like not giving them like accurate information on like, what does it mean to actually take out this many loans and like what does it mean to pay it off. And
Mm-hmm.
we kind of think
That's facts.
like hey, I'll take out these loans and it is what it is. But then years later, like, damn, that was a big mistake. I think sometimes with marriage, people won't think about what it actually means. You know what I mean?
Now, what
Mm-hmm.
about for the men in life that get married at you said 22. You said 22. So if let's say a man gets married at 22, and before that they've been with two other girls, and they felt like, and then they're with somebody, they get married at 22. So they've been with two people, and one of the people is the person they get married to. So really, they only been with one other person.
Uh-huh.
They get married at 22. They 27 now, and now they start to be they used to the person they with. They're starting to get curiosity hit. This is where people argue and say you need to be experienced before getting married because some
Yeah.
get that curiosity where they're like,
But
I
do you think
got to
that
experience.
do you believe that, like you said, that like people should even if I'm not even talking about sex, I'm just talking about like just experience dating. Honestly, like
In a
like
way,
dating,
I
like
do think that. In a way, I do think. I okay. I just think there's a limit to it. Like people be 35 still saying that. Like, bro, like there's. I think
We have 10 minutes left. We can. How about this? How about we'll end it and then we'll come back.
we've already been talking for 40 minutes.
No, half the time was us trying to figure it out.
I thought you stopped the recording.
Yeah.
No, we stayed this room that we're in lasts for 40 minutes, not the recording.
Why
So
wait, how can my lectures be lasting 2 hours then?
because they pay for it. Yeah, shut up, Lakeisha. All right, so how about this? We'll stop it here, and then we'll come back. All right, all right.
Okay.
Back to where we were.
Actually, I'll ask both of you. Do you guys believe that someone should experience dating? Now, I'm not talking about sex or anything. I'm talking about just experiencing like I don't know, like the dating world with different people, rather than just kind of isolate yourself to one person before you get married. Like, do
I
you feel
think
like that helps with like, sorry, you know, like I don't know. Go ahead.
yes and no. I'll keep it short. I'm gonna hear what Lakeisha say. I think you have to be raised with a good dating with good dating principles. Um, and then also I think I'd say it'd be good raised with good dating principles and good dating guidance. I kind of think that helps a lot. So I would say, but I think it's good to go on dates with people, so you kind of get to know people and know how people operate. And you learn from it. Like I learned a lot about myself in the dates I've been on. Um, but at the same time, I would not say it's a necessity. Like you shouldn't like let's say you're dating somebody and you think like this is the person I want to marry, but I don't want him to be the first person I
So
marry. You break it up.
okay, so let me add to it, and Lakeisha, you could answer that too. My add-on. So like, how do you guys feel about like high school sweethearts? Because there's a lot of people who are like successfully married, but then there's a lot who aren't. But like, do you agree that like you should like? Some people are very against high school sweethearts. Like you shouldn't. I don't know. Some people are.
Mm,
I think most relationships in high school are trash anyway. To be honest, like keep it real with you.
I
Um,
think I think personally,
I feel like it's a because
it,
it's a hit
I'm
or
not.
miss. Because you have a friend that's high
I'm
school
not
sweet.
gonna say that's what I'm saying. I do know a couple who've been together since freshman year and they are happily married. It could happen.
Hit or miss, yeah.
The we gonna go off. Jordan is a statistic person. We gonna go off statistics. Do I think that that's really now? If you're. I feel like at the end of the day, if like you're saying, if you were raised correctly, you have good morals, you have good principles, have good beliefs, it could work. But
But see,
I don't think that you
I
should be
I feel like
forever.
I feel like a lot of people would say not to marry your high school sweetheart because of the whole experience thing. So that's when it goes back to the whole should you be dating around?
Because you just gotta think. The way I see it is like, how do you think that you're gonna be with somebody that you met ninth, 10th grade for the rest of your life? But it's like you are going to go through so many changes as you get older. You're gonna get a job. You're gonna meet more people. Like, what makes you think that that person that you knew when you 15 is gonna be the person for you for the rest of your life?
and here's the thing, like again, it's one of those things like I would not recommend it to my kid. Would I tell
Yeah.
them to break? Would I tell them to break it off? No. If they're assuming they were a good person, like I thought they were a good fit, they were a believer, they had good character and stuff. I would not tell them to break it off. I wouldn't recommend it. I would be honest with my son or daughter and be like, "Hey, here's the reality of it. I like this person, so I'll support you, but no, hey, it is what it is." And
Yeah, like if my son is like, if my son was in a long term relationship, they go to college. Like I personally, I probably would tell him like, I mean, if you guys last, you last, but I wouldn't put your mind and heart and like, don't be devastated if y'all in. You're gonna meet so many more.
I
That's
do,
just, I just
yeah.
think you're too young to just.
Mm-hmm. I think it's funny because now that we're grown, and when like younger people tell me like, "Oh, I'm gonna like, I love this person, I'm gonna be with them forever," I don't know. It's just so funny.
it
And
just
I
sounds
don't
like
get that's what I'm saying, but I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not
Yeah, not
possible.
in a
I
funny sense. Yeah,
because like
nine
but
times
most
out
of the
of ten
time,
that it's not gonna work.
because
yeah.
most time these are just teenagers. Like bro, I was on my computer and I remember I saw a meme that I made back in high school, and it was a depressed bear, and it said, "When you hear that a freshman is engaged," and I'm just like a freshman in high school. I'm just like, people were doing
No, I don't. No, I don't mean it's funny in a sense like it like your relationship is a joke. It's more of like I think what ruins relationships is because when you turn 18 and you want to do all these things, do different things, and it, like people want to go their different routes of life. And then, like, but people tend because they are invested in the relationship, they're like, oh, I don't want to do it because I want to stay with whoever you're with. So you end up not, kind of like branching out and you just stick with the
You
relationship.
stick. Another thing, reason why I think it's a bad idea is because a lot of the times you was. That's why I do think that. That's why I'm iffy on the whole experience thing because when you with somebody, if you only been one person your whole life, you don't know if what you're dealing with is normal or not if you've never experienced something
Yeah,
else.
the thing with me is that I was raised to only date one person. I think that's where like
To
also
date
like
or to
my views
marry.
on it is different both because it's just I think my parents are so old school like they just don't believe in like just being with anybody all like different people. So I
I
don't know.
will
They
say
were really
my bad. What?
oh no, go ahead.
I will say this: the experience thing falls apart to a point because statistically, the more people you have long term relationships with, and the more people you sleep with, the more likely you are to have a divorce. Because like I think kind of goes to that original video we were talking about how you get into the mindset of like, hey, when this person no longer serves me, or I get tired of this person, or this person is no longer sexually fun for me, then you break it off. That's not creating a mindset that's willing to have commitment. So I don't like when people say you got to have experience. Here's the thing: I think I could be wrong. I think somebody who was raised with good relationship ethics and who saw healthy relationships in the household, um, and sprinkle in some good Bible in there, not just sprinkle, that has to be the foundation. Um, and they saved themselves for marriage, as in they didn't dabble in sexual sin of any kind, and they meet the person who is like them and they're compatible. They have compatible values, beliefs, compatible goals. I think they'll outdo any other couple that did not do any of those things. 'Cause I think that also adds to this question is like people have extremely toxic views of dating and things that are just so unhealthy. And I think that also adds to a lot of the speedy marriages and or in divorces once you get into marriage and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah. I just feel like we don't see a lot of solid.
I agree, but that's just that that whole foundation you talking about is hard to find in both.
I don't believe in experience though either.
mm.
I really don't. I don't feel like you need to experience to know what you want because I don't feel like it's not like
I just don't like. Well, then how do you not believe in high school sweetheart? If you guys don't believe in experience,
it's
why do you not believe in high
it's
school
so hard
sweetheart?
to I feel like that's so hard to say. Okay. I'm not saying that you meet someone in high school and you should stay with them forever. I'm just saying like in terms of like I guess when I'm talking about experience, I'm talking about like sex and stuff, I guess. That's usually the experience people tell me is like when you experience life, it's you're having sex with different people.
I mean, yes.
Because I know sex is a huge part of marriage, so like that's usually like a lot of times it is like some of the arguments that happen in marriages, so that's probably why people like or even just traveling stuff because like you see they see marriage as tied down, but I don't
But
know.
how do you know what if we're not okay, like what Jordan, what you said is typically yes, that would be the perfect life, but that's not on average, that's not what happens. So like if you with somebody from high school and let's say people are telling you like your relationship is toxic, like but because you've only been with them for so long, you don't see it, you don't know it, you don't because you ain't been with anybody else
Well,
to even know that it's wrong.
And here,
okay, I feel like if you're dating around because things didn't work out, like it didn't, that's totally fine. I'm saying like don't break up with people over and over just to get experience each time. I guess that's
as
what
in as in like sex.
sex or like let's just say like one person was like I want to travel, so like they're put I don't know actually. I guess it's just sex and I don't know, just let's just say you're not satisfied with
Okay,
it.
when I say experience, I don't. I mean, in a
It's different things. It's
it
different.
is different things. I don't really mean like yeah, you should not be breaking up with people just because you. Yeah, I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go have sex with somebody else. Like that's not that you shouldn't be breaking up with people over something like that.
I'm saying if you're breaking up because relationships are just failing because you know that, then that's I guess that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just more of like intentionally just trying to find fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't. Yeah, I agree.
I think that's another thing. That's a key word too. Just finding fun. Like obviously, like if you're dating somebody, hopefully you find someone who is fun. But I think that's the wrong metric where it's like we put fun as like one of the higher categories in character and worldview and beliefs. Um, and therefore we just kind of look for like, dude, there's plenty of people who I could have been dating who I would have had a lot of fun with. But they didn't the character wasn't there. And not to say hold on, let me rephrase that. Not to say the people I went on dates with were not fun. But
I do feel like
yeah.
too a lot of people the reason why people say like the whole experience thing because they're too afraid to commit to that one person forever and have to deal with that forever.
That's another thing too. It's like I think too, like it is a risk. You know, marriage is always a risk.
But I mean,
Like for me personally, like I've dated more than one person, and like I'm just sitting here thinking, if I'm being honest, like any person you date, which I guess technically you should feel that way, but any person you're dating in the moment, you do feel like you're gonna marry them. Like that's just
Yeah.
really. I'm talking about if in a relationship with them, you always gonna feel like when you're with them, you gonna feel like that, like that's your person.
Which is how which
but
the point is how it should be. Like you shouldn't like
but why do engagements take so long then? Like why
engagements.
yeah, like they take forever to propose. It'll be
I
like
get what you
years and years. It's
probably
just
because
it's like
I, in my opinion, I feel like you could feel like, yeah, I'm gonna marry this person, but it's like, okay, at the end of the day, I'm like, I was 20 years old. Like, I'm not, even if we are gonna get married, I'm not gonna marry you right now. Like, no,
But here's the
like
thing though.
the way I see it is, if you
I
know
don't know.
you're gonna marry
See,
somebody, like, why do
I
you
don't,
need?
if you know you're going to marry somebody, then why are you taking forever? Because if we're saying there's no too young
Yeah,
to
but
get married,
why
you're
the rush? Why you gotta rush if you know you're gonna marry
but
him?
why do you, but you just said earlier you don't care like it's fine to get married young.
Young,
So
yeah,
if you
24, but like 20, 18, 19, that's like,
what about okay? I don't know. I mean,
Wait,
mm,
Flo, let me speak to what you're saying a second ago. You're saying like why do so you said when you said why do engagements take so long? You're asking why does it take so long to engagement to start, or
yeah,
why?
that's what I thought. Well, yeah.
Okay,
No, she's saying why does it take so long if people know? Like I had said, when you're in a relationship, you kind of just feel like you're always going to marry that person. So why do people not propose?
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing. I think our immaturity can tell us that way too early. Like, yeah, there's definitely been times where this is the old Jordan, the simp Jordan. There's definitely been times where I'm like, yeah, I could definitely marry this girl.
Dude, but okay, let's be real. You have never actually dated and been in a relationship with someone. You can't.
So you don't call me
Yeah,
out
who
on
would
my
you
own
think about
podcast.
marrying who was never in a relationship?
What were you thinking about? Because yeah, I
No, but my
no,
my
but there's a difference between saying like, "Oh, I really like this girl, I want to marry her," versus like you're in the relationship
no,
and
I get it, but I'm saying that I think both can be true. Like in a sense, like we say that when we really like somebody, that means we're not thinking straight. To your other example, when people are telling, like Lakeisha, I think you said this, when someone's telling you, "Yo, this is toxic," if that's your family or like your church family or your friends, you should probably listen to them. But here's the
no,
thing: when you're
wait,
young, you're less likely to listen to them because you're you're
no,
just
wait. Sorry, someone forget. Wait, Lakeisha, I want to know what made you at 20 years old or whatever age. Let's just say not 18. Let's just say in your 20s. What made you like think like what's the rush of being married if you felt like you were gonna marry whoever? Like what made you feel like what? Okay, obviously more than just the age was like if you okay.
That's really what it is. Like you,
So you felt like you could see marrying that person, yet you just was like, but no.
I mean, even if I like used to think, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry him. Okay, one, we are not financially ready to do that. Like we can't afford to get married. We would wait. We weren't ready financially. That's another thing that comes into play. Of some people won't get married because you can't financially afford it.
I don't feel like court's that
here's,
expensive.
I think it depends on how down bad you
Everybody
want.
wants a court wedding.
Wait,
Okay,
hold on for a second. I know, I have a friend who paid like $3,000 for their wedding, and I heard it was awesome. They had a potluck. People brought food and stuff, and it was a good time. And I
no,
said, I'm
but
like,
I'm
hey,
saying some people might want a court wedding.
wait,
Wait,
you said
yeah, and
no, there's nothing wrong with a court wedding. But I'm just
but
saying
it's
you can
like
have a ceremony for cheap if you just get creative.
you just
Yeah,
said for $3,000. What? Who had $3,000 when I was
Three
19?
thousand
Not
dollars for weddings
it's
is
very
really
cheap.
low.
okay, and that's what I'm saying. I still couldn't have afforded that when I was 19. So of that, okay, I think a lot of people could listen to this podcast and understand.
No, I get it. Yeah, I'm just trying to
Like my
make
first
it.
relationship, like when
Like I
like
get it.
this
Yeah.
now when I sit here and think back, like I really thought I was gonna marry him. Like it's a joke. Like you have to go through it to really sit there and think like I really thought I was gonna marry them. Like
Sure. I take it back what I said. Like, and there is health in that because like obviously there's not
Mm-hmm.
a hard fast rule on how long you should date someone till you propose, but you should date them for a long enough period of time so you can see them. A good rule I've heard is see them in all seasons of life. When they're really happy, when they're really sad, when they get angry. How do you see them around their family? How do you see them around their friends? You have to give that enough time so you can see their character. Um, and but that's
okay,
not.
but do you guys think like let's say you're over 24 that at some point you're taking too long?
No, it's
I
not. Here's the
think
thing. We're not.
older. I think 2 years is like a good like a max. Jordan says a year. I say two.
I think a
A
year is
year.
pretty quick. I think I'd probably say maybe like a year and a. Well, are you talking about including engagement?
Just getting proposed to.
So getting to the proposal part, like when I go on one knee, basically.
Yes.
I'd say maybe like a year, year and a half. Again, these are not hard and fast. I'm not saying like people have to do that. I'm just saying that's not super long. Like here's the thing, I will never. I'm gonna hurt some feelings, bro. It's whatever. You can log off. People can turn off the podcast if they don't like it. I will never understand. And here's the thing. Oh, hold on. So
No, say it.
Let's say what you were gonna
Say
say.
it.
okay, fine. People who will date for like 7 years or 8 years,
I have something to say about that.
huh?
Mm. I have just go
Finish.
about
I
Finish
don't.
your sentence.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And I feel like most people. And I feel like here's the thing. And I feel like
What if you got together when you was 15?
thank you. That's what I was gonna say. Because like
okay,
when you're 16,
okay. That's
you
different. That's
don't
different.
know
That's
the
different.
person.
That's
Yeah.
different. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm 25, if I date someone for 7 years, I would
Well,
be 32.
Yeah.
well, that's
That's
different. Of course,
that's
when
a
you're
fat
older.
minute. But here's the thing, though. I feel like people who get themselves in those positions, and like Flo, you were asking like, why does it take so long to get to engagement? I think it's because a lot. I do think, and here's why Christians have the stereotype. Not just Christians, Catholics, Mormons. They all have the stereotype of getting married so early. Is because there's a lot of benefits to marriage that you can't have unless you're married. And I feel like people who wait forever are people who are dipping into those benefits when they're not able to. Um, no, this is not a condemnation. Like, hey, God forgives all sins if we repent. But I think the reality is that that's what happens. Like, if you're a Christian who's following the Bible, um, then you have an incentive to not stay dating because obviously, like, you have an incentive to not stay dating because if you really love this person, you really like this person, you're gonna want to have sex with them, and you can't do that if you're dating. So therefore, you're gonna try to hurt the process. That's why everyone's told me, Jordan, when you get married, when you get engaged, have a really short engagement.
I do think I agree with you. Yeah, it probably was going to make some people mad, but I do agree that you've been with somebody for 5 years since you was 22 or something, or even 20 and some you're 25 years old. Y'all like at that point, it's like, what are you? You are wasting life. Like, what are you waiting for?
Mm, that is, yeah. I think when you're older, it's different too. Yeah.
And it's like, I think that comes into play where some people are scared of the commitment, but it's like, you in a relationship with them. What's the difference between marrying them?
Yeah, I personally feel some type of way if I was dating someone for so long, but yet they wouldn't propose to me. I'm like, dang, you afraid I'm gonna run out on you? Like, like what?
No, they got doubts, but it's like at that point, it's like, why you so? I don't know.
And here's the thing,
I,
like, I want to be empathetic to the doubts people have. Like, there's counseling for that. You can go, you go to counseling. You can go to. I think couples therapy will probably see dating couples too if you want to, or there's pre-engagement counseling that you can go to. Um, and
I just feel like if you could be with somebody for 5 years,
I mean, I agree. No, I know. I mean, yeah, there are couples that been
and
dating
not,
for.
but I'm being real with you. As an adult, like you hitting 23, 24, it should not take you 5 years to know if you want to marry that person. It shouldn't take you that long.
And how do you feel about people now who are in the like start as kids and now they're adults?
Yeah, that's different. Like if you get together young, but even then, at that point, it's like, okay, start to turn into an adult. It's like, okay, y'all been together for 10 years. Like
But to me, like, what
you
is?
should know by now.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. I'm like, you guys are already doing everything. You
yeah,
might as well
and I
get
think that's
married.
why like it's not like there's this one TikTok couple, and this they could be doing this for clicks. I don't know. I don't really care. But I think it's a trope. I think it's the thing that you see. Like it seems like I think it's really sad when a woman has to like beg to be engaged to. Um, like yeah, like I know. Actually, I'll
God.
just say it. I know when my mom. This was not with my dad. So there's no. This is before she met my dad. She told me about how because she was married before she had met my dad, and she was telling me how she asked him like she I think she kept asking him like, hey, we should get married, we should get married, we should get married. And then they got married, but they ended up in divorce for reasons that were not fully explained to me. But I think that's just really sad. Like, especially for someone who believes in male headship and men leading in their lives, particularly in the romantic sphere. I think that's really sad, right? Like the woman has to almost like beg someone to
I
marry
feel
her,
like women are so committed though. Oh, they're
which is a
always
good
ready.
thing.
I just want to know why, from like a like the man's perspective, like why is it so scary? Because I feel like women are like we're always ready to want to get to married, like commit, but with men, it's like so scary.
If
I
we're
think
speaking reality, I think we're speaking the reality of it. Reality of it is people cheat. People cheat and they don't want to get married because
I just
then
think
that
that blows my mind. Like,
and
I
also
mean, scared.
and also too, I think from the man's perspective, A
They're
lot of people
cheating.
ain't going. A lot of people. Wait, what?
They're cheating, or they don't have faith in their relationship.
Yeah, I think also from a man's perspective too. A lot of people ain't gonna like this either. But hey, it's cool. I think men like someone's gonna probably fact check me on this, and I hope I'm correct. But men, I think, often have a lot more to lose in a failed marriage. Like it's our money that it's most times our money that gets taken. It's our kids that get taken. Um,
I
and,
don't see it that way.
huh?
I don't see it that way.
I do. I don't know about money wise. I think that could go 50-50, but
Okay, if you're talking about kids in the play, like,
kids, most of the time the women get the kids.
but I
Like
don't feel
that's
like
facts.
that's the reason why people are like, that's why I don't want to get married because I'm gonna lose a lot in the marriage. If like I
Well,
don't.
here's the thing:
Who wants to
guys need
lose
a
their
man.
kids?
No, I just feel like the number one reason why men just get too scared to commit is because of like they don't the way like I think they're made like
Well, here's the
I don't
thing: men are
know.
afraid to commit because I think they do have a sober mindset of what it means for marriage to go wrong. Now, here's my thing: if you are scared to commit, you shouldn't be dating.
I
Put
just see it
people on
as
the back.
like
If you are afraid to commit, you should not be in a serious romantic
I just think
relationship.
it has to do with cheating. That's just the number one thing I think why
Yeah,
men.
men are afraid of getting cheated on, and then their wife runs out with half their money and their kids, and they got to pay child support. That's what they're afraid of. And I think their
Dude,
wife cheated on them,
I don't see it that way. I still
bro.
don't see
That's
that.
dude. Okay, man. Here's the
I
thing.
still see it as like
Even if
men
I'm
just
wrong, a lot of people believe that. Like whether that, sure, I might be wrong on that. Like,
no. I'm sure you're not. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I can't put my head around that perspective. Like
because
I
you're not
just
a man. Like,
no, but I'm saying well, Lakeisha sees it that way. I'm saying like I see it as like men just don't want to sexually commit to one person.
I think that is the case for some people, but but I think for the guys who are loyal, I think that that's probably one of their fears is just losing a lot because they recognize that marriage is a big commitment. It's not, and to be
that,
fair, marriage,
that's they're both of those reasons are valid.
yeah,
Everyone cannot want to get married is different, but dude, if we're talking about now in our generation, it's got to do with cheating.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to settle down forever. They're
Yeah.
scared like that's the person they have to be with. The thought of that's you when you're dating someone, it's like yes, you're dating them, but you could walk away at any
What
point.
I don't understand though is commitment with a kid not married and then like versus being married.
Oh, that's a good one too. Is
Like, how do you
how do you
how do
how
you
can you put a baby in me, but you don't want to marry me?
for real at this point we family like I don't get that. That's what I'm saying. I don't get that logic either because I feel like even like I feel like now a lot of people who do have kids together, they're still not married. It's been a
yeah.
while.
People said we're gonna get canceled now.
Different
Listen, I
topic.
don't know people's situation. I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
just
know what, but even if I did know the situation, I still don't understand.
I'm sure
Um,
I can't be I mean my parents are like that. My parents aren't married, never were married, so
hey, my parent. Here's the thing: people get mad at me. People be like, "Jordan, you know the situation? Like, I was born out of wedlock. My parents weren't married.
yeah, my
Um,
parents are married.
so it's like,
My parents were married for 11 years, had all three of us and got divorced.
yeah. So we all came from non-ideal situations.
I feel like a kid is just more commitment than a marriage.
I wouldn't even
I
say
also,
that.
but if I'm being honest though, if you're like, if we're thinking reality, like also it's like, let's be realistic. Like you probably purposely didn't mean to knock her up. It just happened.
And that's why I'm
That's
kind of that's why I'm gonna the traditional one. That's why I'm gonna say they shouldn't have been having sex anyway.
I mean, yes, but that's just not the way. Not everybody has the same values, and
No,
most,
true, absolutely.
Or yeah.
But I mean, hey, I think but here's the thing: I'm not just saying that. I do think when I say people should not be having sex before marriage, that's something I believe that everyone should be doing. Now I can't force nobody to do it. I get that, but I do think that's something that God intended for all people. And I think we see.
I
I think,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
and I think we're seeing the bad fruits of people doing that. Is that we have these unstable households, like that one video that we talked that we sent in the group chat. I don't know how much time we got. It'll let me know we have 10 minutes left. Um, that one video in group chat I was talking about like us trying to glamorize baby mama culture. Y'all remember that?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think we just need
I'm
to
gonna
get.
be real with you. Me as a woman who's pregnant, about to have my first child, I'm married. Even if God forbid, me and Trevor were ever to get divorced, don't call me no baby mama. I'm
I've
not
always
no baby.
said that was disrespectful. I've
That
always
is
said that. I think referring to someone as baby mom
no,
is so
I'm not
disrespectful.
your baby mama. I mean, it's just like I was just because we got
I even
divorced
hate
and
to
now I'm
say,
just your baby mama. No,
You are
not
you are
I'm
my
the mother
child's
of your
mother.
child. I just think
oh,
being
mother,
called a baby mama is like it's just like a hood rat. Like, don't call me a baby. I'm not your baby mother.
yeah, it's
Your
very
baby mama.
degrading.
It is degrading to all women, honestly. And people be joking about it, but really, it's like, yeah. Anyways, me personally, I'm not your baby mama.
Yeah. We got 10 minutes left, but
But we
yeah.
would.
All right, how we gonna wrap it up?
Well, I'll say this: it's like when it comes to marrying young, I think if someone's going to marry young, that I really hope they have a support structure, because they should not be making that decision on their own. And here's the thing too, like we live in such an individualistic culture where we feel like no one can tell us anything. And I think that's not I think that's hurt us. I think we need people to speak into our lives. And I think if you're dating young, hopefully you do. Hopefully you respect the input of your parents, your siblings, your friends, your pastor.
I
I think if
And
you
what
have
if my question to you though is like a lot of the times people don't listen to their friends. They don't listen to anybody around them.
yeah. Well,
then they need to grow up.
I think we're just too young. When we're really young to really like. I don't know.
Yeah. I think here's the thing, like if you can't now again it's a risk. If you're 18 and everyone's telling you don't do this, this is a mistake, this is toxic, and let and you're not and you just start cutting like you just start like getting mad, people are then you're not mature enough. You should not that proves their point that you are not mature enough or able to make a decision um in a right headspace. Now if you just respectfully disagree, it's like, hey, I disagree. But let's say you took their advice seriously. You actually look at what you're actually able to evaluate what they said and measure up to reality. And let's say you come out on the other end saying, I disagree. I think this is fine. Then hey, Godspeed. You know. But if you find yourself starting to get this is advice for young folks. Even though people who listen to this are not young, I'm sure. But anyway, if you find yourself getting angry about people disagreeing with your life decisions for anything, but particularly in dating, and they're saying this whatever you're doing is bad or toxic, then they're probably right if you're getting angry about it. As like from the angry in the sense of like, oh, no one can tell you anything. If people don't agree with you, then they're just yeah. Anyway,
Mm-hmm. Well, this was a good topic. I feel like we could talk about this all day long. So
Yeah, I know. The time is just like I keep watching the time. I'm like, man, we don't have a lot of time, but we
shoot,
really.
we can do a part two at some point. Shoot, when you give birth though in a few weeks, we ain't gonna never see you again.
But I just think I think the one thing I will say, wrapping it up, is that I get why people say don't get married young because I just see it as I think when you graduate, there's so many things you want to do because you're so young, but when you get married, because that decision just doesn't become yours anymore. It's like both part now you become one, so like you can't just do whatever you want.
And
Like
here's the thing, I
you,
think. Oh, sorry.
huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, and I think our culture could use some of that. I think we're too independent for our own good, right? Like, I think we need some barriers in our life.
I
Uh,
do think it works both ways. Like if you want to get married young and you guys are on the same plan, same path, or like have agreement, that's totally fine. But if you are choosing, like, let's just say, I don't know, you want to do something that takes you away, and you're gonna like not do it just because you want to stick around and get married and stuff. Like I could say that's toxic. But it just depends on people, like on what their life looks like or what they're trying to do. But I don't think it's bad to get married. Like it just depends on every couple.
yeah, for me, I wouldn't encourage my kid to get married young. I would say at least wait till you're 22.
I
Um,
think, yeah, yeah.
uh,
I
but
wouldn't tell. Mm-hmm.
But
My last piece is um pretty much if you in a relationship, you try not to get married because you want to be in the streets and you trying to mess around in the sheets with people. You just get out the relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
if you're doing that, I got a few words for you. You need to repent and believe the gospel.
I feel like you'd never be happy too. Like I feel like how could you truly
I was just thinking that too. Like, I don't know how you can sit that. You just want to sleep around for your whole life.
Mhm. Literally you never want to settle down. You never want like I don't know. And you know what I think the problem too is that people say we were, broke. I remember this TikTok, we're broken, like we grew up with like broken families and parents, but we're doing the same thing. Like we're like a lot of people are doing the same thing that their parents did, and they wonder why their parents, relationship didn't work out, or they blame their household for like, oh, this is why I have
You gotta
problems and
stop
stuff.
grew up in and change it.
But yeah, but they're doing the same thing. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and I think the one solution to this is that people need to get a biblical ethic on marriage, relationships, and sex. Um, because I think we come up with a culture that basically just says, "Hey, we can do whatever we want with no consequences," which is not true. So
Mm-hmm.
people need
Yeah.
to turn from their ways and take up the new way. And
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
thanks for having me on your podcast.
But wait, sorry, I'll say one more thing. But regardless, marriage is beautiful. So if people choose to get married, it's a beautiful thing.
mm,
Just
yeah,
gotta.
marriage.
It's hard though.
Yeah, marriage is
It's
a
hard.
picture of Christ in the church. So men, y'all need to step up. And all the men who are looking at me being like, "Jordan, what about you? Trying out here."
All right, bruh.
Mhm.
But
Trust me, trying
but,
hard.
but nah, but yeah, no, we're all Christians here. We love marriage. We think it's a beautiful thing. We want people to get married.
Support
But just do so
marriage.
with wisdom and with the right worldview. So, all right, y'all, that'll be it. Thank you, Floralee and Lakeisha, for being on my podcast. And maybe we'll come back for a part two at some point or talk about something else. So, all right, y'all, have a good one. All right,
Peace out.
Bye.